May I come in, sir?
Come in, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Take your seat, please.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're Abhinav.
Yes, sir.
Just Abhinav.
Yes, sir. Just Abhinav.
Abhinav, you have passed out from IIT Roorkee.
Yes, sir.
Process engineering with MBA.
Yes, sir.
Now, BTech with MBA, what is the difference between a pure BTech and a BTech with MBA?
Sir, this is the integrated dual degree course, sir, where the aim was to create techno managers, sir, not only engineers and not only managers, sir.
Okay, this is only specific to Roorkee or
Yes, sir.
other IITs also?
Yes, sir. This course is unique to
Only
Roorkee, sir.
unique to Roorkee. Okay, so you did both in 2 years, process engineering. After that, of course, you had done with MBA. After that, did you do anything?
Yes, sir. I worked for 1.5 years, sir, as a business analyst at Tribo Hotels and in
Yes.
business intelligence and strategy at Cars 24, sir.
Okay, now you did business analyst in what was exactly you are doing there?
Sir, I was heading the realization department at Tribo Hotels, sir. Over there, my
hotels.
Yes, at Tribo Hotels.
So it's basically is a hotel management.
No, sir, not exactly. Mine was a data science role, sir.
So what was the data management you were doing?
Sir, over there I was heading the realization department, sir. My role was to reduce the no-show, sir. That is people booking the hotel and not turning up at the hotel, sir. When I joined, it was at 12 to 15%, sir, and that was causing a loss of about 15 lakhs per day, sir. So my role was to reduce that, and in 6 months I reduced that to...
How did you reduce that? Because people book and they don't turn up, they don't pay. They turn up and they don't pay. So it is a loss.
Yes, sir.
You can't give it to others also, so it's a loss.
Yes,
so
sir.
How did you manage to reduce that loss?
Sir, what I did was I collected all the data regarding all those bookings, sir, and there were multiple channels of bookings, sir, like online travel agent, sir, offline travel agent, corporate booking, walk-in booking, and there are multiple sub channels, sir. So we analyze the data, what is the behavior of the customer that they are coming through that channel. Like one example, sir, booking through booking.com, and if that is made in 40 days in advance, there was only 60% chance that a guest will turn up at the property, sir. So based upon all those analysis, sir, we created a system, we designed a product so as to remove such cases, sir.
No, but it's a human behavior. I don't turn up. I mean, how do you prevent me from force me to go and do this? I mean, it's a statistical analysis. 60% don't turn up, 40%. So, but how do you reduce that? Yeah, you can make out that. So you can perhaps avoid that channel because there are too much of absenteeism. That channel you can do that, but you cannot force anybody to come and take advantage, isn't it?
So my experience was that even if a customer he is paying 5% of the overall booking, sir, it was almost 98% chance that he will turn up at the property, sir. So we try to build a system where we would give discount, we will give some additional booking, we will give more royalty points if someone who has booked a hotel to pay in cash and if they are ready to make a part payment, sir. So one is that way, sir. So based other than
advance payment to take
yes,
some
sir, advance payment. Other than that, we would take card data, sir. Other than that, we would give royalty points, sir. We will see the background of the person, sir. Based on that, sir, we created an automated system which will automatically cancel the booking or confirm the booking, sir.
Very nice. Now, from your data, it is seen that you have got certain interest. Like your one interest is Himalayan
Explorer, yes, sir.
Himalayan exploration. Now, what are the places in Himalayas have you visited?
Sir, this was again a club in our college, sir, and through that I visited Rishikesh area, sir. Through that I visited Nanda Devi trekking, sir. River rafting in Rishikesh, sir. Pangot village trekking, sir. There were
Okay. Now, Himalaya is a very fragile ecosystem, and it is said that Himalaya is not as ancient as the Aravallis. There is another smaller mountain range. So Himalayan is still growing, and there is a very fragile ecosystem. Now, there are specific problems, challenges, developmental challenges in the entire Himalaya, not only one area, the entire. So, suppose you are in charge of Government of India, you joined Government of India as a senior level, and you are put in charge of the maintain and preserve the Himalayan ecosystem? What are the main steps you will take on a very short term and of course on a long term basis?
So,
Main challenges, main developmental challenges and steps you take.
sir,
First
first
the
of
challenges and then the steps.
So challenges that current there is existing is that we are not following the environment impact assessment for our development side. The second is that the number of tourists, since we are not regulating the pristine environment of Himalaya, sir, over there, in my personal experience, I found toothpaste tubes, sir, chocolate wrappers, sir, and plastic bottle on the snowy mountains, sir. So that is another challenge. The third is that for building of roads and tunnels, sir, we are blasting the mountains, sir. That is affecting the very ecosystem of the Himalaya, very fragile ecosystem of the Himalaya, sir. Since Himalaya is a very young mountain, so that is increasing the landslide cases, sir. There is loss of life due to that. There is loss of infrastructure. There are increased instances of cloud bursts, sir, glacial lake outbursts, sir, avalanches. All these events, sir, they are somehow linked to climate change plus our developmental activities, sir. So as to solve these activities, sir, first of all, in short term, I would start following the environmental impact assessment for our developmental approach, sir. Secondly, I will
Impact assessment means what? Environmental impact assessment is a buzzword. We all hear about that. What does it? What do they do under the impact assessment?
Sir, in environmental impact assessment, first of all, we do the analysis that what are the problem at that. Then we do the scoping, sir. What are the solution that we can bring? Then after we
For example, you have to construct a road from place A to place B, near high up in the mountains near Rishikesh. And what are the impact assessment points you have to take into account while doing the impact assessment? What are the points you will take into account, and what are the prescriptions you will suggest?
So we will look at the challenges first. If that is a green area, if there are lots of if there are lots of trees, sir. Secondly, we would see if this is a seismic zone. What kind of seismic zone, sir? What is the strength of the rocks over there? Can we build the rock through tunneling, or we will have to do the hard process of cutting the rocks, sir? What are the population staying over there, sir? What will be the impact of road on them, sir? If there is landslide increasing in that area, will that affect already existing hydropower project? So all these challenges we will first look at, sir. Then we will form a solution. With that solution, we will
What
approach
are
the
the
local.
solutions? Suppose in a road from A to B, what are the solutions you will suggest?
That would be a preliminary solution, sir. So that solution would include whether we would be in using the cutting of rock or blasting, sir. Whether we will be using the slope stabilization measures, sir. Whether we would be.
Or what is the slope stabilization measures? What are those measures?
Sir, we will be putting rods over there. We would reconcretize the surface so that the loose ends they are not left over there, sir. Thirdly, what would be the width of the road? We will try to minimize the width so that there is minimum effect to the climate over there, sir. Then after we will consult the people over there. What are the challenges that they would be facing if we start constructing this road? If there is a hydroelectric dam downside, so what are the precautionary step that we would take, sir, like building concrete wall or building flood control measures, sir, or early warning system for some avalanche that we may create in that region, sir. With that solution, we will approach the local community, sir. If they agree, then that would be sent to the environmental ministry, sir.
And they don't agree.
Then again, sir, then we will see what is the cost benefit analysis, sir. What is the cost, what is the benefit? We will try to convince the people. We will compensate the people. We will tell them what other measures that we are taking to not affect the environment, sir. And if people do not agree, then environment ministry will have to take the decision, sir, to give the permission or to cancel the project, sir.
You are from Bihar, Muzaffarpur.
Sir.
Now, what are the main Bihar? You said that they are the best of people. The people from Bihar, the best. So, what are the intelligence is concerned, one of the best in the country. But so, what are the developmental indices are concerned, one of the worst in the country. Why such a dichotomy?
Sir, as I can see, 89% of our people live in rural areas, sir. So they are dependent on agriculture, sir. But there is land fragmentation, sir, lack of mechanization. But much bigger problem is lack of entrepreneurship in agriculture sector, sir. Secondly, there is lack of meaningful employment, sir. There is lack of manufacturing sector, modern service sector. So due to the lack of these job opportunities, sir. Thirdly, sir, 60% of our population is below 25 years, sir. So we have a huge potential for demographic dividends, sir. But unfortunately, our investment in education, healthcare.
What is the demographic dividend in so far as Bihar is concerned? how it is of paying any dividend, because the most of the people are they are migrant laborers, and they put a huge burden on the state's capability to manage jobs also. It is basically a curse rather than a dividend.
Sir, I would see that as a potential, sir, a future potential, a huge growth opportunity, sir. Those,
How you will use this demographic, so-called quote unquote demographic dividend to further the state's interest?
sir, I will invest in their education, sir. I will invest in healthcare and skilling, sir. So Bihar would be the next engine of growth for whole
What
India,
are
sir.
the skilling necessary for using this demographic dividend to their advantage, Bihar's advantage?
Sir, first of all, the low-hanging fruit I will target, sir. So that we
What
can.
are those low-hanging fruits?
That would be, sir, entrepreneurship in agricultural sector, sir. I will provide them online marketing skill, online their website management skills, sir. I will form SHG over there. I will follow Bangladesh model of development, sir, like focusing on labor intensive industries rather than capital intensive industries, sir. I will increase female labor force participation, which is among lowest in Bihar, sir.
So how will you invite investment?
Sir, since Bihar has a huge opportunity, I would create a special economic zone over there, sir. I will improve railway infrastructure, sir. I will improve road infrastructure, sir. Bit better infrastructure and lower taxes and a special economic zone, sir. And better environment away from criminalization and corruption. Industries would be due to come to Bihar, sir.
Finally, Bihar is beset with huge problem, not Bihar, because of this floods, unwanted floods.
Yes, sir.
For the Nepal flood waters. So how will you, suppose you are in charge of irrigation department in Bihar, so how will you tackle, it's very difficult to solve, but how will you tackle this problem?
So
Or is it not possible to tackle this problem at all?
sir, it's possible to tackle the challenges. In the last 10 years, there has been no major flood calamity in Bihar, sir, and that shows that we can develop on that sector. There is much scope to develop. For that, sir, we will have to coordinate with Nepal government, sir. We will have to create early warning system. We will have to improve the river banking system, sir, so that the flood water should not flood. We will have to do the desludging of the river bed, sir. And more than that, we will have to use the flood as a potential, sir. Still, the fisheries sector that is undeveloped in Bihar. We are too behind from Andhra Pradesh or West Bengal or the southern state. So we can use that as a potential rather than at a disadvantage, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You mentioned about opening SEZs in Bihar
Sir.
for economic development. What happened to the SEZs which were started at so many places in the country? What happened to them? Are they still functioning as desired, or something has happened?
Sir, unfortunately, we did not focus on single window clearance, sir. What we offered them was just reduction of taxes, sir, and better infrastructure in SEZ. So our latest SEZ policy of 2006, I see great potential for improvement, sir. Though that is performing good, but that performance is only the traditional sector, sir, like jewelry, like already existing software exports, sir. So there is much scope in electronic sector manufacturing, sir, in hardcore manufacturing, sir, automobile manufacturing, sir. So I would like to focus on those areas with the recent focus on PLI scheme, sir.
What I want to know is that are the SEZs still delivering as they were supposed to deliver? The advantages that were supposed to be there, or the growth potential that was there with the SEZs, has it been fulfilled?
So that was fulfilled only in limited sectors, sir, not in all the sectors that was intended, sir.
Okay, we read more about SEZs.
Okay, sir.
You also told about skill development,
Sir.
skilling people to realize the potential of the youth that is there. Now, a skill development program is being run in a very big manner, very big way by the government. So far, what impact have you seen of these programs?
Sir, one thing is that yet we have not involved industries in our skill development program, sir. So there is a mismatch between demand and supply, sir. Yes, we are giving skills. More than 60 lakhs of a skill has been given through the SRAM portal that we have created. But the number of jobs that they actually converted into was
Sum
very
total
less.
is only for registration of people who want to skill themselves.
Sir, that's a
Issue.
convergence-based approach where that is linked with Kaushal Vikas Yojana, sir, or at the ground level, various.
Have they made any dent on the unemployment scenario?
Sir, they are not performed as per their potential, but they can improve, sir, by involving industry itself, by knowing what is the demand at the ground level and providing a skill in that sector,
So
sir.
if you and I know that by involving industry, the skill development program can be run very well, why is it not happening?
Sir, one challenge that I can see is on the implementation side, approaching all those local, what we have been doing, that we approach Mahindra or Toyota or Tata. Rather than that, sir, one major impact that we can create is by approaching the local employment.
If you
givers,
were
sir.
an industrialist, suppose a small MSME running some kind of industry, and the government came to you and asked you, okay, you keep these 5-10 boys with you and skill them, will you do this? On what condition?
That will depend upon conditions, sir. If
On what conditions will you do?
if that is linked with incentives, sir, so every industry will take. On my part, yes, sir. If I had a MSME and I had an opportunity to improve the employment scenario in my locality, I will move ahead and provide them the training opportunities, sir. But to take that on a larger scale at national level, sir, I believe we can merge that with the proper incentive structure, sir, so that even those, all of them will come in the zone of acceptance, sir.
Achha, okay, now recently you must have heard about it that India has been abstaining from voting in the United Nations on various resolutions relating to Russia. What do you think of this policy? Is it a good policy, or something different should have been done?
Sir, since from very past we have been balanced in our foreign policy approach, sir. So since India is among the unique country that have a good relation with almost all the superpower, so I believe this policy is maintaining our strategic autonomy, sir, and that we are able to negotiate with both sides, Russia as well as USA, so as to maximize the interest of our nation and people, sir. So yes, sir, I would stand by this policy, sir.
But think of the other side. A small country like Ukraine is being destroyed like anything, and we are not even saying a word of condemnation to Russia.
Sir, we have already given a statement, our 6 aims, sir. Over there we have talked about that none of the nations' sovereignty and territorial integrity should be violated, sir. Apart from that, we have given humanitarian assistance, sir, and I'm sure behind that door we would have been negotiating.
But don't you think that abstaining from voting carries a different meaning, that you are siding with Russia?
Sir, but with every abstaining, we have given our statement that why we are abstaining. Either the wordings were too harsh, or we give our explanation, sir, that we are actually taking a neutral stand. But as far as humanitarian concern and loss of life people is concerned, we are on the side of Ukraine, sir.
Okay, last thing. There has been an effort from Government of India that professional courses, engineering, medical, etc., they will be taught in their mother tongue, in local regional languages. Do you support this philosophy, or do you have some other views?
So going by my personal experience, sir, yes, sir, I will support that policy. I had to face too difficulty to switch from Hindi background to Hindi background. So from that aspect, sir, yes, sir, and among many of my friends, sir, since we are taking IIT JEE in all the regional languages, so I met with some of the friends who came into IIT JEE by writing their exam in Tamil or Telugu. They were not aware of Hindi or English, and they had to face many problems, sir. And even they could not perform as per their potential, sir. Since they were the toppers of their board, they could have performed better. But yes, sir, I believe by shifting to the mother tongue, we can utilize the potential in their true sense, sir.
Think of an IIT. Which IIT did you? Roorkee.
Sir.
Now in Roorkee, suppose you have people coming from Tamil Nadu as well as Kerala as well as Karnataka and so on, and you are supposed to teach them in their regional language. will the same IIT be able to do this to different groups of students in different languages?
So we can start with the major schedule 8 languages, sir, and then after we can go on building that thing in other languages as well, sir. I believe that the potential that lie in utilizing all those young people's potential who.
What about the course material in those languages?
So now we have
Books.
artificial intelligence, sir. We can simply convert them into those languages, and government is also working on that part, sir. Yes, sir. That would be an implementation part would be very difficult, but if somehow that can be done,
Thank you.
thank you, sir.
You are like a rapid fire answers. Huh? You seem to be a good candidate, so I don't know what to ask you beyond what you already told us. Your name begins with alphabet A.
Sir.
Does it give you any special advantages?
Sir, it has both sides, sir. Advantages as well as disadvantages, sir.
Uh-huh.
Wherever there is, if the
Begin
name,
with disadvantage.
yes, sir. Anywhere the name is arranged in alphabetical order, sir, so I would be the first to go. And since mine is A, then B, then many a time I cannot expect what to provide for, or there is not enough time to prepare, sir. Like in college interviews, sir, or practical exam viva, sir. So I am the first to go. So over there, I see that as a disadvantage that I cannot prepare.
Seating
sir.
arrangements in higher institutes like colleges and IITs and beyond that are most of the time alphabetic order, the seating.
Sir.
Is it so? In IIT, did you face this?
No, sir. In Roorkee, I did not face that. That was voluntary, sir. Sitting arrangements.
Voluntary, wherever you go and sit.
At most of the places I can recall, sir.
That sitting in the first row as in alphabetic order, does it make you feel good or would make you nervous?
I always sit at the front, sir. So I would like that would provide me opportunity to interact with the
So
professor.
you won't let the teacher fall asleep, or the other way around.
Sir, sitting in front give advantages that I can interact with the teacher at the end of the lecture, sir. I can ask my doubt clearly, sir.
Yeah. And raise questions.
Sir.
You see, we seem to be, we means India and the world around, we seem to be having or exploring answers to, issues of climate change and pollution and alternate sources of energy. Do we have ready answers, or we are anywhere close by to find solutions to the major worry of shortage of water? Are we anywhere close by to finding answers as to how we'll meet the shortage of water?
Sir, since the technology that is coming, that is always evolving, so I would call that a greenfield, sir. Over there, we are coming with new filtration technology, sir. Every day, like in my college major project, I saw a project where the filtration system has so much developed that directly the drain water we can convert that into a drinking water. Yet costly, but yes, sir. With going forward, the cost will reduce, and so I would call that as a
Rainwater.
Sir, drain water.
Drain.
Yes, sir.
And what about the sea water?
Seawater also, sir, per liter cost has reduced, as per my knowledge, sir, 10 paise per liter. So that is also always evolving, sir. We have already installed a 10
Why
million.
nobody seems to be exploring, barring few countries which are kind of totally dependent on seawater?
Sir, Israel has developed a special capability in that sector, sir. We also have established such seawater conversion facility in Andaman and Nicobar and Chennai, sir. But the thing is cost, sir. Still now the seawater conversion is costly, sir. Apart from that, there are environmental hazards, sir. So that is why that's the reason why we still focus on river water.
Difficult area to tackle. The water shortage. Difficult area to deal with.
As per now, yes, sir. But we are focusing, since we are focusing on circular economy, sir. So we would be focusing on reusing. So yes, sir.
You were talking of river rafting to one of our friends here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So river rafting, you just went as a one-time event, or it's your hobby?
No, sir. That was as a part of the club, sir. Himalayan Explorer Club, of which I'm a member.
How many
sir.
times you went rafting?
River rafting as only once, sir.
Only once.
Yes, sir.
Why it's called white water rafting?
Sir, the river rafting are of different kind, but yes, sir. In Rishikesh, we have wild water rafting because the water over there is very turbulent, sir. There are too many eddies and currents over there, sir. And then there is height change at very small distance, sir.
Can you tell me? You said that you rafted in Rishikesh.
Rishikesh, yes, sir.
Can you tell me some features? I mean, in terms of the vocabulary that they use, terminology they use. Can you describe some of the obstacle features?
As per, sir, sorry, sir.
You see, while you raft, you face degree of obstacles, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And variety of obstacles. Can you name some of these features
Yes,
as
sir.
they are called in that belt, the Rishikesh belt?
Sir, there are too many. Yes, sir. Now I got it. I cannot recall since I went there only once, sir. There were multiple activities we participated, sir. But whenever, sir, the survival skills that I can tell, sir, that whenever there are fast eddy or current, all of the people need to synchronize in one way, sir. If all of them work as a team.
It is one difficulty.
Yes, sir.
Another?
Another is when there is sudden height change of water, sir. Over there, the head of the boat that should needed to be straight, sir, so that the boat should not turn, sir. And whenever eddy is there, we need to keep us away from
The height would be called what? When the water wave goes very high straight?
In Rishikesh, that is not too different, sir.
Okay.
So that there is no fall technology.
Okay.
for
Public
that.
administration is your optional subject?
Yes, sir. Public administration.
Prime Minister is very fond of, our Prime Minister, Modi, is very fond of saying maximum governance and minimum government. What does that mean?
So by saying maximum governance and minimum government, Prime Minister actually wanted to reduce the size of our bureaucracy, sir, and to increase the impact of administration on the lives of people, sir.
Can you give some examples where he or his government has actually applied this?
One way would be like involving private sector, sir, involving people into the decision making, focusing more on e-governance, sir. But as per se, reducing the size of bureaucracy, I don't think we have progressed much from the previous government, sir. Still, there are 78 ministers, sir, and almost 290 departments.
No, this maximum governance and monitoring, very close monitoring at the higher level, including at the PM level. Can you give some examples?
So one would be Pragati meeting, where the government using the same team. Now we are collaborating with the state secretaries, sir. We are same team at the center through Prime Minister, sir.
I think you need to read more on that. Anyway, my last question to you is, a notification from the education department in Bihar kind of surprised everybody, was that teachers were asked, in addition to their normal duties, to keep a watch on people who sort of drink in public or whatever. Keep a watch on the people who drink and loiter around, and report it to the authorities. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir, I saw, but that was only a statement from the minister, sir. That is not the policy measure of the government, and that has no way been part of the anti-liquor bill, sir.
There was no formal notification?
As far as my knowledge, sir, that was only the statement that came in the newspaper, that they want the school teacher to report such kind of activity to the police and administration, sir. But yes, sir, as far as I know.
It's a good cause in the interest of prohibition. Like, if you were there, would you approve of it? It's a good thought. Why not?
Sir, I would focus more on regulation. I would focus more on rehabilitation of the people who are drinking rather than detention.
I'm talking of the teachers being deployed for this. Isn't it a good cause?
Sir, but that would
Or a good cause?
that would affect their already difficult responsibility of teaching their students, sir. If
Okay,
they,
thank you.
thank you, sir.
Abhinav,
Sir.
I want to draw your attention to the manifestos which are being issued by the various political parties. Manifestos, and they are offering freebies to the electorate. That if we come to power, we will offer you this. Recently, a group of top secretaries to the government of India met the Prime Minister and made a very useful suggestion that this must be stopped because it has got very indeterminate financial implications, and we can't bind our progeny to such kind of commitments. So, what do you think about this? Is this proper? Was it not appropriate on the part of the Chief Election Commission to consider this even before bureaucrats could bring it? It's a very common knowledge. We are aware of what is being offered, and the Election Commission should have reacted much before.
Yes, sir. I also personally believe that at the time of manifesto, many promises that they are being made that is fiscally too costly on the government or not possible. So yes, sir, there should be a mechanism that political parties should be asked from where the funds should be arranged, whether that would be possible or not. Unfortunately, that has yet not been part of our election commission. But yes, sir, that change should be brought, sir. Election commission should take into that, since Supreme Court has already said that election commission is a reservoir of power and there is no limitation. Yes, sir. I would like election commission to become activist in that reason, sir.
Okay. There is a Food Security Act, and we are not able to feed the people at the lowest rung of society, who are poverty stricken. Should we not go in for genetically modified seeds to increase our production of seeds?
So personally, yes, sir, I believe that we should be adopting genetically modified crops that will increase our productivity. Over there, we can solve the issue of nutrient deficit as well, sir, other than hunger, sir. But there are other aspects, sir. Still, the health effect of those crops. So until unless the health effect is solved, sir, the government will not be in a clear. Government cannot take a clear decision
Has
on that
it been experimented somewhere?
Yes, sir. In Bangladesh, beauty brinjal has already been accepted. Even in some of the European nations, they have agreed. But overall, no, sir. Most of the nations, they have not yet accepted. Other than, sir, cotton, GM, the cotton that we have allowed, sir. In most of the sector, no, sir. That the directly consumable goods, we have yet not allowed the GM crops, sir.
Okay. There is another proposal which is before the government, and the government wants that the various anti-corruption agencies like CBI, CBC, and Enforcement Directorate, they are at present, reporting to their different bosses, and the Prime Minister feels that they should be brought under the canopy of a single authority, and the head of that authority should be DG. Are you aware of any such thing?
Yes, sir. Recently, Supreme Court CGI have also given his statement about that, sir. Yes, sir. That would be a very good initiative where there would be lesser political interference on our enforcement agency and institutions, sir. And I also personally believe that we should have an independent investigation institution on lines of USA, sir.
But the Supreme Court also feels that the CBI, especially, is a caged parrot. So instead of putting all these agencies under one head, unified head, will it not be appropriate if they are made independent? Now at present these agencies are getting directions. It's an open secret. That is not.
Yes, sir. Currently, many of their roles is overlapping, sir. So yes, sir. That would be a.
So they are getting orders from their masters, political masters, and they carry out raids, searches, and all this.
I would not say exactly, but yes, sir, there is political interference, and Supreme Court has certainly said that CBI is acting as a caged parrot. Same allegation has been imposed on ED as well, sir. Recently, in case of Maharashtra, and action against the opposition government. So yes, sir. In faith to gain the
You don't agree with this Supreme Court observation?
sir, I do agree with Supreme Court observation, and yes, sir, I believe that they should be given independence away from political interference.
Okay, since you are a student of public administration, the practice of appraising the performance of officers, civil servants, is based on the doctrine of 360-degree appraisal. Is it really proving useful?
Yes, sir. Since when I also had a work experience, sir, and in private sector as well, we have adopted this 360 degree of performance appraisal from our bureaucracy, sir. So yes, sir, that would be a good initiative, but sir, that yet need to be improved more, because yet the rating that is being given, all of the bureaucrats are alleged to be given very good rating and similar rating. So yes, sir.
But can you expect your peers and subordinates to give you outstanding certificates that you are a very good performer?
No, sir, that won't be of high integrity action
So
from their part.
So that means it's not a good suggestion. It is not implementable.
Sir, I believe if we increase the scope of the suggestions that we are taking, if we can take consultation from more of the peers, more of the clients that as a bureaucrat we would be facing, sir, more public feedback, sir, and if we give more weightage to that feedback, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
public in many more cases are the stakeholders. They are never consulted.
Yes,
There is
sir.
no point in consulting the peers and subordinates and superiors. Why don't you consult the public? They are the real people. They can give you a better rating.
So as far as I know, in this system as well, public is being consulted as a client, sir. So yes, sir, to improve the efficiency of the system, we can increase the number of feedback, give more weightage to the feedback outside of the service rather than inside of the service. Yes, sir.
Okay, one last question.
Sir.
Brief answer. Huh? You must have heard of a scheme called Manrega.
Sir.
Is it doing well?
In southern state, yes, sir, it's doing good. Southern states, sir, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. But in northern state, especially Bihar and UP, there is issues.
Sort of corruption. Huh?
Corruption, but more issue is, sir, the asset that we are creating. That is not a meaningful asset, and that is increasing the inflation.
When you talk of Manrega, you talk about rural unemployment. What about urban unemployment?
In urban areas, sir, there are other alternate option of employment as well. So bringing rural employment guarantee in rural areas was a necessity, sir. Yes, sir, it would be a good step to bring that in urban areas as well.
In the urban sector also, huge unemployment.
One thing as I see that, sir, that will increase the wages of the people working at the lowest rung of the society, and that is much needed, sir. Even the recent economist who had got the Nobel Prize, he had also suggested that such minimum employment or minimum wages. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Abhinav, what is the meaning of your name?
Sir, Abhinav mean new, young, modern.
Okay. So since you have been in the role of an analyst, let me ask you to analyze in 1 minute. Analysis should be comprehensive. Analyze the Sri Lankan crisis for me.
Sir, I would say that main issue is the twin deficit crisis, sir. Fiscal deficit as well as balance of payment, the current account deficit, sir. So twin deficit first thing. Secondly would be, sir, lacking of the fiscal policies of the government, sir. And thirdly would be the impact of COVID and the Easter bomb blast that happened and tourism sector got affected, sir. And the impact that is having is on the lives of the people, sir. They are not having the essential commodities over there, sir. And that is having the impact on the payability of the foreign debt or loan. So
analyze the role of China and easy credit for creation of infrastructure in this crisis.
Yes, sir. China is alleged.
What exactly happened?
So that is alleged to be a debt diplomacy by China, sir. That such loans were given even knowing in advance that they won't be able to pay back. Habantota Airport, sir. The airport? Habantota Port and Airport, Habantota Industrial Area as well, sir. Huge infrastructure investment was done knowing in advance that won't be creating that much of money, sir. And that also contributed to the current economic crisis.
Very well. Similarly, analyze Ukraine crisis for me.
as per se, sir, impact say.
No. Ukraine crisis in the same manner. Comprehensive in 1 minute.
That is affecting the global order, sir, global political order. The rule-based order is getting destroyed. That is affecting the economic order, sir. De-dollarization has been initiated. That may initiate the nuclear race. That is having effect on the economic life of people across. That has increased the inflation. That has increased the prices of food prices, the transportation costs, sir. And that is affecting the faith of people or United Nations to uphold the humanitarian values, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Abhinav. Your interview is over. You can get doctor and call me back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
बैठ जाइए प्लीज, आपका इंटरव्यू ओवर है, रिलैक्स हो जाइए। यूनानिमस व्यू, आप अभिनव, यू आर रियली अभिनव, you are really in the zone. You are in the zone. You are certainly going to make it unless you commit a faux pas that day. Don't commit any faux pas. जो आपने कर रहे करते जाइए। वो आपका इंटरव्यू कब है?
22nd April, sir.
ठीक है, ठीक टाइम है। आप जो करती है अपडेट करते जाइए, अपडेट करते जाइए। जो भी आपका दिनचर्या है, वट एवर योर रेगुलर थिंग और डाइट एक्सरसाइज, जो भी रोज का काम है, दिन जो है, डोंट थिंक मेरे बहुत कुछ चीज़ होने वाला है। जस्ट नॉर्मल टेक इट एज रूटीन। जो 22 को जो होने वाला होना है, जो आपका रेगुलर काम जहाँ भी रही है, नॉर्मल रूटीन चलिए। माइंड के ऊपर टेंशन मत लाइएगा। यू आर डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर रिटर्न ऑफ कोर्स।
Okay, sir.
You should not only get in, you should get a good service also.
Thanks.
So और थोड़ा सा मतलब आप थोड़ा इम्प्रूवमेंट के लिए थोड़ा सा जब बात करेंगे ना, तो इन्वॉल्व करिए, थोड़ा सा झांकते रहिए। इन्वॉल्व द एंटायर बोर्ड ऑफ कोर्स। ये थोड़ी सी आपने जरा बहुत इंटेंस हो जाते हैं, यू गेट ए लिटिल इंटेंस टॉकिंग टू दिस थिंग। थोड़ा सा स्पीड को अगर जरूरत बने थोड़ा सा मॉड्यूलेट करें, थोड़ा सा स्पीड को थोड़ी सी। You have got all the answers, right answers, which is very good. You have right answers for right question. Many things we did not ask, could not ask, time permitting. So in an economy, generally all international relations, India versus so many things, many general quad क्या है, ये क्या है, वो India, all these multilateral agencies, bilateral relations है, multilateral जो India part है, एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी इज वन वेरी बज़वर्ड है। यूक्रेन रशिया के बिकॉज ऑफ दैट इंडिया का ये है थोड़ी सी। और अभी जो रिसेंट एडमिनिस्ट्रेटेड गैस प्राइसेस की इंक्रीज हो गया। ब्रेंट क्रूड इज हिटिंग थ्रू द सीलिंग। ब्रेंट क्रूड इज द प्राइस इंडेक्स, प्राइस इंडेक्स ऑयल का, वो भी देख लीजिए। तो इंडिया का डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्शन एकदम 15% है, ब्रेंट का ये ऑयल क्रूड का 15% के मेन कितने ONGC कितनी है, ऑयल इंडिया कितनी है, प्राइवेट सेक्टर, प्राइवेट प्लेयर, वेदांत वगैरह, कैन इंडिया जो है थोड़ा देख लीजिएगा। बेसिन, मेजर बेसिन्स कहाँ है, ऑयल रिजर्व जो है, ऑफशोर बॉम्बे हाई ऑफशोर कितना है, बॉम्बे हाई मेजर फील्ड्स है, पन्ना हीरा मुक्ता क्या है, देन बॉम्बे हाई जो ऑल दिस मेजर जो ऑयल वेल्स है, ये इंडिया में कहाँ है। एक वेस्ट बंगाल में मेजर फाइंडिंग हुआ है अशोक नगर के पास थोड़ा बिकॉज ये एनर्जी इज क्वाइट करंट फैशन नाउअडेज, बिकॉज बहुत इंडिया कैसे इंक्रीज कर सकता है, बिकॉज लॉट ऑफ प्रेशर ऑन इंडिया टू इंक्रीज द डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्शन। आत्मनिर्भरता सब वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सो फॉर एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी इज कंसर्न। आत्मनिर्भर होने के लिए एनर्जी क्या करना चाहिए, ओनली नॉन कन्वेंशनल एनर्जी सोर्सेज में वो टाइम लगेगा, इन्वेस्टमेंट चाहिए, इन्वेस्टमेंट सोलर में कितना, ये कितना, जियोथर्मल, ये वो ऑल दिस की शेयर कितनी है, पोटेंशियल्स कहाँ है, NTPC का रोल क्या है, नॉट कन्वेंशनल एनर्जी सोर्सेस में प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स को बुला सकते हैं। इनफैक्ट देयर इज समथिंग का OALP, ओपन एकरेज लाइसेंस पॉलिसी। इंडिया इज नाउ काइंड ऑफ हैज बीन डूइंग इट फॉर encouraging private players to come and exploration of oil reservoirs online, onshore as well as offshore। उसमें OALP क्या थोड़ा सा पढ़ लीजिएगा। MOPAG इसमें होगा। बाकी जो MSME पैंडेमिक में impact on the economy, impact on the health infrastructure, impact on entire the sudden jump in the application of IT industry across every sector, वो bad है, good है, जो 2 years the primary education has gone down to जो बच्चे कोई the people have gone back to primitive stage. काफी बच्चे जो है lower middle income में they are not without education. offline didn't meet the purpose because उनका तो स्मार्टफोन नहीं था. स्मार्टफोन का वजह से बहुत सारे इम्पैक्ट हुआ बच्चे का स्कूल स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ एजुकेशन प्राइमरी खासकर काफ़ी सेटबैक हुआ है. तो उस पर प्राइमरी एजुकेशन एंड एजुकेशन सेक्टर में जो सेटबैक है उस पर कैसे भरपाई करेंगे, कैसे उसको पूरा करेंगे. सपोज यू आर गिवन इन चार्ज. देन बिहार तो ऑफकोर्स आपने काफ़ी बोल ही दिया, बिहार अच्छा आपने कवर किया है. बाकी जो इकोनॉमिक पेपर वगैरह थोड़ा एक तो जरूर पढ़ते जाइएगा. इन बिजनेस स्टैंडर्ड मेथड ये जो चीज़ें है. तो बाकी आपका कोई क्वेश्चन है?
थैंक यू सर.
Anything
आपको कोई क्वेश्चन पूछना,
आपको कुछ पूछना है?
कोई डाउट हो या कुछ?
कोई डाउट?
अच्छा, बिफोर दैट आई वुड लाइक टू make two observations.
Sir.
We are all unanimous that you are an excellent material for civil service. You are bound to be in. But
Thank
we
you,
also
sir.
wish that you should be in top 20.
Okay.
For that, 2-3 suggestions which we have all considered is that you appear to, your knowledge base is excellent, very vast. You seem to know everything. But you speak very fast.
Okay.
That must control the speed of your
Okay, sir.
answer.
Okay.
That is very, very essential because when you speak fast, you forget whom you are addressing. When you speak slow, whenever a question is posed to you, ponder over it. Don't just jump to answers. Ponder over it. See, you should look that you are thinking about the questions. It's not a answer which has been memorized from the textbooks. You should ponder over it, frame the answers. Locate the keywords that you would like to use. So, 10 seconds you can frame the answers, and then you reply. But pondering is very, very important.
At least if you know the answer, you give an impression that you are you are trying to think about it, because they want a thinking person, not a kind of person who has memorized everything, knows everything. This is also play acting. You know everything. You have to just give an impression. Okay, sir, a few seconds there, sir is saying, like that. It's a little play acting also. So give an impression like that.
An answer should be short. Verbosity is noticed. Make it a little shorter.
Okay.
Crisp. And it should cover everything that you want to say, but not too longish.
Okay.
The trick is how to stop also.
Okay,
how to
sir.
start also at the center, how to stop and when to stop.
Okay, sir.
Say your part, stop.
Okay.
Wait for the supplementary. Supplementaries will come, but
Sir, should the question should be seem like balanced, or should we take one-sided view? In previous month, I was given a review that I'm too balanced, so I should be taking.
yes, obviously.
You have to be balanced.
No, you have
A bureaucrat is supposed to be
सुनो,
balanced.
नहीं इसमें एक चीज है, आप गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ऑफिसर नहीं है अभी. You are a candidate, so obviously you have your own thinking power. So you are not parroting what government wants you to say. Government's policy may, if you agree with that, say yes, I agree with the policy. However, there could be some issues like hijab controversy, the butcher khana controversy, the stray cattle controversy. There could be your point of view could be different from governments. All these ना धर्मांतकरण जो है उसमें भी there are some ordinances laws. I don't know whether they may be different. There could be some kind of embarrassment हो सकता है, hijab क्या है ये, like that. So that could be a controversial kind of a thing. Now there you have to be a little tightrope working. You say what you are not championing government of India. You are not yet in government of India. So that's why you have your own views. But whatever your views, think and say clearly. But then the trick is not to go back on. Suppose there is a lot of pressure on you. Say, how do you think? And you say, this is my view. Could be there is another point of view, but this is my view. Okay. Now, balanced is a good thing, but point is that balance, you should not look like it's a coach. Now, there is a one word they use, the UPSC members use, because both of us were there in UPSC earlier, so we know that they say there's a coached. The candidate looks sounded too coached. This is a word they use actually. They coached. They say coached. Coached means he has taken a lot of coaching from outside, and he looks a very practiced kind of thing. So that's why sir is saying you give an impression that you have not been really too much preparation. You have been prepared, you should, but give an impression that you have your own thinking. You're asking, then you're thinking, and you are kind of you're saying from your heart. I mean, your mind and heart, of course, both.
Okay.
So that should be say somebody else has right kind of taught you something. That's called coached answers, like that. So that's why balance is okay, but it should be your views. Balance could be your views. You will probably think that there is nothing wrong in being balanced. One-sided, why should we be one-sided? Because you don't believe. You say what you believe. They are very, very senior fellows. They are very senior fellows. They are trained fellows. They have been doing it 40 years in service, and 5 people there, and they are much more experienced than any of us can be. But the point is, that's why you don't try to kind of say which you don't believe in.
Okay.
You will be caught.
Okay.
So don't do that. I mean,
Okay.
if you think it is done, because mostly the questions will be about not only the information based, it will be your opinion based. So that opinion based is by and large, maybe some 5, 10, 15% will be information based, mostly will be opinion based. So there you have to say, come out with your opinions. They want a thinking man, thinking officer, not a kind of like a magar or something, they don't want a crammer or something. They want somebody who is thinking and aware of everything around him or her. So that's why if it is balanced, it's balanced. These are your views.
Okay.
You can't change because of somebody else is thinking bad about you. That's why you have to be your thinking, your views.
Okay.
It's coming from your mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Chalo, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank
We
you.
want to have good news about you.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.